What's up guys, Pete DiCarlo here, and today we're going to talk about how to get your credit score from a 650 to a 727. I'm currently out right now shooting some photos for Jeep, but I figured that I would take the time to make this video. Half of it's going to be in video form and the other half is going to be me going over my credit on creditkarma.com. Now know that what I did may not work for you. You may get a better score, and it's all dependent upon different people. A lot of people think the credit is not important in today's world. I was told my entire life not to care about credit, to use cash for everything, and the credit cards were meaningless. Obviously, the older you get, when you want to borrow money for good debt, such as, student loans, starting a company, or maybe real estate, it's hard when you don't have a good credit score. So there are two ways that I got my credit score up almost 80-something points within 6 months. The first way is by becoming an authorized user on somebody who has a very high credit scores credit account. In my case, I asked my girlfriend, her credit score is a 780. Obviously, as you know, what makes a credit score high is about 6 different things that we'll go over later, but you want to find somebody in your life who trusts you, that you can be an active user on their credit account. Like I said, my girlfriend, her longest credit card she had was Target. It was 4.5 years old. Her credit utilization was like 1% on the card, and her credit use, I think the limit she had was around $5,000. So once she made me an active user on her card, all of that history of that card went over to my account. I'm 28 years old. I did not start opening any credit accounts or even building credit until 6 months ago. It's kind of crazy, but I figured I would do it correctly. I had a Capital One Platinum card. This is the worst card you can get, 26% APR, and my credit score was a 650. My credit history was about a month. Once all of her credit history shifted over to me, I got about 4.5 years worth of credit, and my credit score shot up about 35 points. A lot of people don't know about this, not because it's illegal, not because it's impractical, but just nobody teaches you anything about this. I didn't know about it until a friend told me. So if you have a grandfather who has amazing credit who trusts you, get on his account. If you have a mother who has good credit that trusts you and that you trust them, because you have to understand, if she goes out and defaults on that payment, that goes on your account too. So it's important there's a lot of trust involved. Or if you have a friend who you really trust, get on their credit account, take over the credit history. Now the second one requires a decent amount of credit in order to do, but once my credit was at about a 700, after about 3 months, I decided I was going to start looking to buy my first investment property. Now, you don't have to use it on a property, you can use it on a car payment, or some sort of loan. So once I got approved for my mortgage with a 700 or higher, got an update from Credit Karma saying that I went up 29 points for being accepted for this loan. So my credit, seriously, in the 6 months, just by doing those two things, keeping up on my utilization, keeping up on my payment history, and my hard inquiries, which we'll talk about later, shot my credit up for about an 80. Now, if you are unable to do this, you're gonna have to do it the long and hard way. You're going to have to grind, and you're going to have to go over the 6 main components that we're gonna talk about now. Alright guys, back at the house, and right here what you are seeing is my Credit Karma account. Obviously, I'm not paid by Credit Karma to support them or anything, but this is the best way that I have found personally to manage and keep track of my credit. So, you have 3 different credit bureaus that credit companies and loan companies and banks report to. You have your TransUnion, you have your Equifax, and you have your Experian. Credit Karma only has your TransUnion or Equifax because these are the ones, I guess, that they see as the most important. So what you guys are obviously seeing is my credit score under my Equifax account. Now, just to let you know, Credit Karma is not paying me for any of this. I'm not sponsored by them. I just feel that Credit Karma is the best way for me to keep track of my credit, and probably the most accessible through my phone or on the computer. As you can see right now, my Equifax score is a 727. There are 3 different credit bureaus that credit companies and loan companies and banks report to. Those are TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Now, for some reason, Credit Karma only goes over your TransUnion and Equifax is really the one that I tend to keep my eye on, and that I realize loan companies and mortgage companies really look at the most. So when you log in, this is your home screen. And we're going to go through the 6 things that credit companies look for when offering to give you a loan or another credit card. As you can see, these are the 6 main things that make up your credit history. The first one is your credit card use and your utilization, which I'll go more in depth about that. Your payment history, your derogatory marks that you have on your credit age, your total accounts, and your hard inquiries. And if you see underneath the name of that area, it has 3, 2, and 1 dots. This is ranking how impactful it is on your credit history. So credit card use, the highest impact possible. Payment history, highest impact possible. Derogatory marks, highest impact possible. And the last 3 have less of an impact on your credit, such as your age, your total accounts, and your hard inquiries. So we're going to start right now with the first one, which is your credit card use and utilization. Credit card use, I feel, is probably one of the most misunderstood aspects of building great credit. So my family told me that if I did get a credit card, to use it all the time, carry a big balance, and then pay it off little by little, and that would make my credit higher. I've also heard of a lot of people to say never use your credit card. Now, the way that Credit Karma ranks these, as you can see, red is obviously the worst, yellow is decent, and green is the best possible. Now, what they're talking about is your utilization rate. That is the percentage that you will see there. Your utilization is the amount of money that you spend on the card throughout all of your accounts, as opposed to the highest credit limit you have. So you can see right now my credit utilization is 0%. That is because I've not had a statement come in yet. I've used $12 out of the $4,500 that I have total within my accounts and line of credit. So obviously I am in the green zone. Some people tell you to keep your utilization at 30 to 49%. I like to keep my utilization at about 10%. But I think a great medium is 20% and below. So as an example, if you have, $10,000 in total credit that you can use, I would never carry a balance of $2,000 or more between all of your accounts. Now, the certain cards that I have right now, I don't have great cashback bonuses, so there's really no reason for me to even use my credit cards. I use my credit cards probably twice a month to buy some Starbucks or to buy a big item with my Target card that is worth getting the 5% cash back for. Next up, we have your payment history. Obviously, this is one of the biggest things that credit card companies look for. If you default on a payment, whether it's a $1 payment or a $10,000 payment, you're not only going to affect your payment history, but you're going to affect what we're going to talk about after this in derogatory marks. These are the things that you do not want to have on your record. For some reason, people think that they can just buy stuff with credit cards and pay it back later. Don't ever look at credit cards as a loan or an ability to buy something that you cannot afford. Once you miss a payment or you're unable to pay, your payment history is going to go down and it is going to be hard to get it back. And also another thing to expect is once you mess up one time, it is impossible to achieve the 100% late payments. Looking right here on this bar, obviously if you see 97% and lower is terrible, 98% is decent, 99% is good, and 100% is good. But if you're a responsible adult and you feel that you need to have credit cards, don't miss a payment. There is no reason for you to ever, and I'll repeat it again, ever miss a payment. The thing that makes a great impact on your credit is derogatory marks. Now, a derogatory mark is if you don't pay a loan back. A derogatory mark is if your car goes into, repossession and you have collections. This is bad. Derogatory marks, as it says right here, takes 7 to 10 years to get off of your credit report. And unfortunately, to my knowledge, it's not like a hard inquiry where it lessens over time. Do not get a derogatory mark on your credit. Unfortunately, if you fall into hard times and you are unable to pay back a credit card company on loans that you have or a car company on loans that you have, maybe think about going to a private investor or an angel investor, a venture capitalist to help pay your bills and repay them, or a hard money lender. I know that, neither of those are really good situations to be in, and neither of those types of people are really good to get loans from for personal debt, but derogatory marks are one of the worst things that you can have on your credit. Now we move into the things that affect your credit still, but not as high as an impact. Credit age is something that's going to have a medium impact on your credit because credit card companies want to see, one, that you're responsible with credit, but two, that you've had credit for a decent amount of time. Like it says here, lenders typically like to see that you have experience using your credit responsibly, especially for bigger loans like mortgages and car loans. So my average age of my open accounts is 1 year and 4 months. Now, like I said, my girlfriend, that account is about 4 years old. My account right now is about 6 months old. So this is also the mortgage I just got out is only a month old. So the average age of all of these is 1 year, 4 months, which I need to bring up higher, and that will have a great raise, towards make my credit score a lot better. The fifth thing we're going to talk about is the total accounts that you have. Credit card companies and lenders like to see that you've used different accounts. So I like to say, never. So another thing that we'll talk about really quickly, because I never knew this when I first started building my credit history. If you cancel a credit card, okay, even if say you've had an American Express card, you've had it for 10 years, you don't use it anymore, never, ever cancel your credit cards, because what will happen is it will cancel the history and you will lose all of the history. So right now I only have 2 accounts that are open. That is my Target card and my Capital One card. And now I do have a loan through a bank in Florida for my mortgage on my investment property. This is not added into my actual accounts because I believe that Credit Karma goes through and just looks at credit accounts that you have, even though the mortgage does affect my overall credit score. So as you can see, a bad impact rating, which is, what I have right now, 0 to 5 cards, 6 to 10, a good is 11 to 20, and the best you can have is 21 accounts and higher. Now, if you have a good credit score right now and it's 700 and you're like, oh, I want to bring it better, I'm just going to apply for a bunch of credit cards, open up a bunch of accounts. Do not do that. A lot of credit card companies look for the 5 in 24 rule, which is having 5 new accounts within 24 months. Do not ever go over that. Because while credit card companies want to see that you have a lot of active accounts, they don't want to see that you're just applying for credit cards all over the place. Especially mortgage companies. The last thing that a mortgage company wants to see before they go and accept you for a loan is that you're opening credit cards, because what it'll look like to them is that you're scrambling for money all over the place to buy this investment, and banks don't want to see that. I'll also make a video in the future about how to get your first investment property going through different types of loans. So remember, the more accounts you have, it's kind of the same thing as time. It just happens and you have to be patient. Now, the final thing that we are going to talk about and has the lowest impact on your credit is your hard inquiries. So you have two different types of inquiries when it comes to your credit. There are soft inquiries and hard inquiries. A soft inquiry is me checking my credit, or somebody that's not doing a full credit background check. So when I check my credit, it's a soft inquiry. That does not, and if it even does, it barely affects your credit. A hard inquiry is when a mortgage company, a credit card lender, somebody checks your credit to pull it to see if you can get a loan. The more hard inquiries you have, the worse effect it's going to have on your credit score. So obviously you see 9 hard inquiries is the worst, 5 to 8 is bad, 3 to 4 is, fair, 1 to 2 is good, and 0 is the best. Now, unlike derogatory marks, hard inquiries lessen their impact on your credit the longer it's been. And after 2 years, their effects are completely gone, which is great. So, don't be too afraid to have hard inquiries on your record. Like I said, I have 2. I'll probably apply for a Quicksilver Capital One card or a Chase Slate card rather soon. I'll have 3 hard inquiries. My credit will go down a little bit, but I am okay with that. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's been probably rather long. It's been very informational, but take away what you can from this. If you have any further questions, comment down below, send me an email. I will be doing a video in the future of different credit cards and the benefits of different credit cards. And if you have no credit or bad credit, what is the best credit card for you to have? Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want me to do in the future. I'll see you guys.